Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Aurora and here we are today to do the weekly energy update for April 26th, the week of April 26th. So this is exciting because we have our super full moon in Scorpio today, actually. So this is really exciting. So much energy is circulating right now, but I feel that it has a sense of calm to it. So it is nice that we are now entering into this energy that is supporting our highest potential. So yeah, I'm just gonna kind of start talking about this moon, and then we'll get into the energy for the week. I have a few new decks that I'm gonna pull from that I don't think I've shown. I know for one for sure I haven't shown you guys, but yeah, so I'm excited to pull these decks and see what comes through. Okay, so let's get right into it. I have a few notes. I did look into the energetics of what a Scorpio full moon represents. I have a little bit of knowledge on Scorpio in general, but I just wanted to kind of tap in and see how it relates to this full moon. So let's back it up for a minute. This full moon is actually a super moon. So that just means that it is a bit closer to Earth at this time, which means that the energies are heightened. So whatever energies that this frequency imprint of this full moon that we have is going to be amplified even more so. And a full moon is already that, which is the amplification of energies. Right? So that is what a full moon does. A full moon to me represents kind of like a pregnant woman. So it's fertile, it's healthy, it's nurtured, it's coming to fruition. We're about to birth anew. So that is kind of the representation of the full moon. And then, yeah, the super full moon gives it that extra I guess magnifying glass of energy. So just kind of have that in your awareness this week, that we are in this energy right now of the full moon in Scorpio. It is a super moon. They say it's a pink moon, but that is not literal. It just means that the Native Americans have named it one of many names, one of them being the pink moon because of the phlox, this flower, the creeping phlox that manifests that comes into fruition at this time of the year. So yeah, so that's a little bit about that, and then going into the Scorpio energy. So the energy, like the kind of umbrella that I would put with this moon, is that it is illuminating our shadow. Okay, and I know that I talk about this a lot, and purging and releasing, but here we are again this week doing the same thing, but with different energies being supported in different ways, okay? So this week is a lot around our own personal intimacy of our inner world, of our internal connection to ourselves and our emotions. So if there has been things that you haven't necessarily wanted to give attention to, and you know that it isn't in alignment with your highest self and with, you know, this new version of you that you're becoming, then we're being asked to shed and purge. But luckily we are very supported right now in taking these next steps onto our life paths, onto our missions, connecting to our dharma, our purpose, and really choosing to anchor it in. So yeah, for some of us it's going to feel very heavy and very dense, but for some of us it's going to feel very light. If there's stuff that you haven't been able to give yourself that space to process, this is really a time where we're so supported to be able to collapse these beliefs or these timelines or these stories that we have been, you know, reiterating for so long. So yeah, so our inner world is going to be extra heightened this week. Scorpio is a water sign, so it is connected to emotions. It's also ruled by the genitalia. So if you're having any type of, sexual intimacy issues, this will be coming up as well this week. So, hopefully if you are and you find this divine timing so that you can get that external validation that, there is nothing wrong with you. It's just time to heal whatever it is that you're processing or going through. And you will always be able to integrate and to learn and to grow from whatever experiences that we do have in our shadow self. And now I'm actually being guided to explain kind of what our shadow is. So our shadow is basically the aspects of ourselves that maybe either drain us or don't fill us up or that we don't want to acknowledge. I mean, I'm going to put it in the sense of like a negative experience, but take that lightly because it doesn't have to be negative, and every negative has a positive at the end of the day, but it is the aspects of ourselves that we maybe aren't comfortable with, that we suppress, that we don't want to acknowledge, different things like that. It could even just be a feeling, an emotion, like sadness. Like, I always run away from my sadness. Why do I always do that? Or anger. I always get angry. Like, these are shadow aspects. So it's like being able to tap into your shadow self, which are these aspects that you'd like to heal, and to be able to transmute and transform that into your healed self. A lot of the time, our shadow, our biggest strength is also our biggest shadow. So that's just the paradox that we live in, and that is just learning how to balance the scale around what it is we're giving our attention to and what we're allowing to kind of subconsciously run our lives. So that's kind of a little rundown on the shadow. Much more, of course, and there's so many different definitions that you can give it, but that's kind of just the quick, easy rundown. When I say shadow self, it really is just referring to the aspects of yourself that need healing. And all that is that you have something that's blocking your light, which is literally all a shadow is when something's blocking the light, it creates a shadow. So that's another kind of a fun way to look at, our shadow self, because it doesn't always have to be, like traumatic. It doesn't need to be traumatic to release our old programs and patterns. And that's what I'm so passionate about with my high vibrational healing, is like having the capacity to, and the understanding to kind of bring yourself out of your body while simultaneously in your body, if that makes sense. Because we want to be able to have that higher perspective, but we also want to be present in our body. And most of us are not. So it's really about learning how to anchor our soul, our presence into our physicality, into our body, which is merging that spiritual and physical world. So, that's a little bit about the shadow. So illuminating our shadow, that is the Scorpio energy, and connecting with our own personal intimacy, with our own inner world, with our own personal emotions. And then the more that we learn how to do that and connect to ourselves, to our heart space, then the clarity will come. The clarity comes from listening. The clarity comes from sitting still, from being still, from quieting the mind, and to really listen to what it is that your inner voice, your soul, your intuition, whatever word you want to put on it, is guiding you to do. And then having the courage to take those steps. Okay, beautiful. Okay, let me go through. Actually, I'm going to say the key word here. So I have a key word for this week, and, well, words, I guess. It is I create. Okay, because Scorpio is all, like, it rules the genitalia, so you think reproduction. So this is a very a fertile space if you so choose. So it's like I create. So really taking responsibility this week for what it is that you're creating, because everything within your reality is a reflection of your internal world. So if something's happening out there, you need to ask yourself and come back to your heart and come back to your body and come back to your senses around what it is that you're doing, and find your purpose again and really reconnect to that that part of yourself. So I create. What are you creating? What are you choosing to create? And then I am backtracking a bit. Should have done it the other way, but that's okay. So I have Scorpio here as a water sign, and it's co-ruled by, I just wanted to give you guys kind of an understanding where I'm getting this information from around, like, you know, anyway, I'll get into it. Just say it, Aurora. So Scorpio is a water sign. It is co-ruled by Mars and Pluto. Okay, Mars is the planet of action, energy, and sex. And then Pluto is the planet of transformation, power, and subconscious. Okay, so when I say Scorpio is ruled by these planets, that's what gives the energetics to Scorpio, which is the Mars and the Pluto energy here, right? So we have action, we have energy, we have sex, we have transformation, we have power, and we have subconscious. So these are the nitty-gritty of what it is that is going to be coming up within our shadow self. So where is it where you take action, maybe, I'm going to say wrong action, but maybe not the highest path action, or where you're not taking action at all? Where do you need to be taking action, and where should you not be taking action? And then we have energy. So what are you allowing in your energetics, okay, in the sense of a shadow? What is it that's draining you? What is it that's pulling you down? And how can you refocus that into a higher frequency, a higher energy, so that you're able to create that flow within your life? And then sex. So sex is very connected to our, sexuality is our base chakra. And as I said, that the Scorpio rules sexuality. So it's like sexuality, that energy is not just physical sex. It's what goes so much deeper than that. So it's about creativity. So going back to our keyword of I create. So it's back, that sexual energy is our creative energy. So if your sexual energy is not flowing, then there's different ways that you can, what's the word I would like? To redirect that energy, to even replenish that energy. You don't have to do anything sexual to connect to your sexual energy, because it's connected to your creativity. So you can create, you can draw, you can paint, you can do all these different things. You can start your own business. I don't know, like there's a seed being planted on this full moon around creation. So like taking our power back, going into that Pluto energy of power here. So taking our power back, our sexual power back, to say, hey, no, this is mine. I am a sovereign being, and I'm going to stand in my power. I am a sexual being, and I will stand in my power of that. There's no shame, there's no guilt, there's no fear. It is what it is, and this is a beautiful part of who we are as a human being, you know? So to actually enjoy the pleasure and the sexuality and the sensuality of life, you know? And this is a very large shadow aspect of humanity. This is probably one of our deepest core wounds, is our sexuality. So whatever's coming up around that. And then I'm also hearing that that relates to work as well, right? So that creative flow is like, what's your perception on work, and what is your, do you have a drive? Do you not? Like, where is your, going back to the energy, where's your energy with your sexuality? Or are you using it to manipulate? Are you using it to control? Are, you know, there's a lot of different sides. So just get honest with yourself at this time, because like I said, we're so supported this week with this moon, with all these energies. Is like, there is no shame, there is no guilt, there is no fear. So let's just acknowledge and process and transmute what it is that we're feeling. And then transformation. Pluto represents transformation. So this is that alchemical process of tapping into these darker aspects of ourselves so that we can liberate ourselves. This is all about liberation. Scorpio is all about liberation, especially sexually, but I mean, even just taking the action that we need to take, being in alignment, trusting the process, all these things, because trust, that safety and security, is a very base chakra energy. So, taking all this into consideration right now with this moon that we're having, and understanding that if you're having stuff come up over and over and over, there's nothing wrong with you. It's just being asked to be acknowledged, to be dealt with, to be loved, to be honored, to be told that it's not wrong and that you're not wrong and that everything's okay, you know, and really feeling it and really making the proper changes in your life in order to actually embody and sustain the change that you are wanting to implement. And then I said power and then subconscious. Okay, so really that's the kicker with all of this, is subconscious. This is being illuminated right now. So it's like we've been in this energy of maybe like kind of hitting our head against the wall and getting frustrated and being like, oh my gosh, like I just feel like I'm spinning my wheels, like what's going on? We're getting out of that energy. This week forward, we're entering into a very action-oriented, a very forward movement energy. And now spring's here and we're entering into, I mean, we still got a bit for summer to come, but we're kind of, life is picking up again. So we're getting a spring in our step. We're gaining clarity. We're tapping into the flow. And everything from this point forward is going to be very quick. So that's why it's so important right now to process what it is that is kind of accumulated in your subconscious from lifetimes, guys. This is lifetime work. And I have here lifetime purifications. That's what's going on right now. And last week I was talking about Leumeria and Atlantean energy being activated, and we're still in that energy. So all that is going to be coming up as well, which is the masculine and the feminine coming into balance, which here right now we're being urged to really focus on that masculine healing, which is the foundation. So being able to give ourselves that support, that safety, that security, knowing when to take action, knowing when to sit still, doing and implementing things that we know are good for us, that are going to help us on our spiritual path, on even our human path, you know, that is going to help us to, you know, have a very strong, healthy physical body due to us taking care of ourselves, right? So, yeah, so just implementing the balancing act of processing our shadow and realizing like what it is we have been holding on to, what's not serving us, and what's going to allow for us to move forward into this new earth energy, into this frequency of love and abundance and flow and purity and you know, just new earth energy, like really living from this heart space and really being connected to our soul, to our path, to our purpose, not getting wrapped up in the matrix, not feeling feelings that aren't yours, but really learning how to attune to your own soul frequency. That's why like getting that intimate connection and like cultivating that connection to our own inner world and to our emotions and to our desires, that's what's going to be coming up too this week, is like we're going to gain clarity on our deepest desires. They're surfacing right now. So it's like all this time, this 1221 mirror, right? So at this time, as we're purifying and cleansing our shadow self, the clarity that comes from releasing all of that is that we understand what it is that we want. And that's the beauty of the shadow, is because it's shown us so much of what we don't want that it gives us clarity for what it is that we do. We're like, whoa, we're not going to manifest that again. That's not going to happen again. We're not going to do that again. We're going to choose to make a choice out of love and not fear. And I'm going to, you know, it's something that you grow and build upon, and through this strengthening of your own intimate connection with yourself, you can hear the messages and you can hear the guidance, and you know, because it's a feeling and it's a knowing within your heart, within your soul, within your body, within your mind. And even though there will be fear, because, you know, fear of the unknown, there's change coming, it's not a fear that is the fear that we've known. It's a very grounded, I'm feeling it in my, well, of course I'm wearing this shirt too, but I'm feeling it in my solar plexus when I say that, around, you know, like knowing our worth, like just something as simple as knowing our worth and knowing who we are and standing in our power and choosing, you know, to keep raising our consciousness, to keep evolving, to keep growing, and to keep choosing the higher frequencies. No more suffering, no more self-sabotage, no more self-sacrifice. That's one that I have written here. No more self-sacrifice. Boom. It's done. No more self-sacrifice. You are just as important as everyone else. That archetype of the mother is being dissolved right now, of sacrificing self in order to provide for the little ones or whoever, just that motherly of like pouring from an empty cup, eating scraps, you know, like making sure everyone's fed. Like, yeah, of course we're still going to do that and make sure, but it's about realizing there's more than enough food for you as well. There's more than enough to go around for us all to have a full cup and pour from a full cup, and an ever flowing full cup. Okay, so once we can tap into that infinite frequency of overflow, there is no more self-sacrifice. We'll always have enough, and we'll always have full bellies and be able to support. So there's a lot of really deep, long-term purifications going on, and this moon is really inviting you into really looking at it, acknowledging it, releasing it, honoring it, because it's who you are. It has created you to be this magnificent, beautiful version of yourself, and you are just in the process of learning how to love unconditionally, to love yourself and where you're at and where you're going and where you've been, and knowing that you're totally capable of anchoring in whatever it is that you desire. All right, yeah, so then I have clarity and flow that initiates deep change. Oh yeah, so rapid movement after choices are made. So this is like the energy. So I think it was 3 weeks ago or so, I was talking about timelines converging and collapsing and coming together, and now we're in this energy of like those timelines have been more stabilized. Like this last few weeks have been a big shakeup in, I mean, we had Easter, and that was the resurrection, and then we also had spring, which also represents resurrection. Like there's this rebirth, like the phoenix energy coming in. That's kind of where we're at. We're kind of rising from our ashes. That tower moment has happened. Everything has burnt down, everything has crumbled. We're in the process of death and rebirth, which is that phoenix rising from the ashes. And that's why it's so important. That's the kind of the representation of our ego death, of our shadow self, kind of collapsing and then coming to. So what's happening right now is we have this rapid movement after choices made. So once we make a choice, this is where our power is. So this is a way we can take our power back. So once we make a choice, then we can get clarity on the action that we need to take or not take, right? So it's like once we can tap into our deepest desires of what it is our soul calling is, what it is that we're here to do, what it is that, you know, we want to experience, once we can purge and release this energy, then we gain clarity, we can tap into the flow, and that's when the change happens. And as that change is happening, every choice point that you have is going to reward you with quick movement. And when you're in flow, okay, here's another message. So this is what you need to be listening for, is that when you're in flow, it'll be like this. Like everything will align, everything will glide, everything is so smooth, and there'll be very quick movement. If you're not in alignment, then this is the universe showing you. Meaning, if you're not in flow, if things are not aligning for you, if you're like, what the actual fuck? Like, I've done everything that I know to do, then maybe it's that you are being guided to go a different direction. So tap in and listen. Re-listen. Keep listening. And if you don't like what you're hearing, understand why you don't like what you're hearing and where you're being guided to. And understand why. Because it could be like, oh, I just don't want to. Or, oh, I don't want to put the effort in. Or whatever. But it's like, no, you're going to have the, like, jazz. Like, the energy this week to really take action where you need. So really utilize that energy. But yeah, so just have that awareness that when we're in alignment, rapid movement. If you're not getting the rapid movement, then you're being redirected. So you have to be, that's what I'm hearing. Okay, so if you're not getting that quick movement, you're being asked to slow down. You're being asked to come back to yourself, to go within again, and to start asking the questions and understanding kind of your place, your reference point at this moment in time. And if you are in alignment and you're going with, you know, making the choices that you need, being certain, being decisive, choosing to, you know, like put the energy into this and that and watching it all unfold, it's going to happen so quick. And all this year, I would even go into last year too, has been kind of preparing us for this now. So it's like there's been this energy of like something big is happening, something big is happening, something big is happening, and I haven't necessarily been seeing any big external, but I've been doing a lot of the internal. So now we're entering into this phase of the external shifting because we've done the internal. Okay, so that's kind of where we're at. And so the quick movement, like it's going to be coming in so fast. And then manifestation of longed for change. So what it is that you've been asking for is going to come into manifestation through your choices that you're making. And things are going to come up that are just going to blow your mind. They're going to be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this is actually happening. And keep following that feeling of, I can't believe this is actually happening, like in a positive sense. Like, wow, this is amazing. This is great. I want to keep following this feeling that I have that's guiding me towards, like, it's like a soul calling. So keep following that and keep trusting that. And if you don't know what the heck it is that you're here for, or you need the guidance, then that's where you're being very extrally you're being extrally guided to go within, to connect to your heart center, to connect to your inner child, or your crone self, which is like your grandmother self, you know, or different versions of yourself, your higher self. Like, start connecting to you. That's the answer there. If you need clarity, connect to you and ask yourself questions. That's what I always do to process information, is you ask yourself the questions to receive the answers. Okay. Yeah, awesome. Yeah, so the rapid movement after choice is made is going to cause quantum timeline collapsing, which is what I was just talking about with the timelines converging and collapsing. So it's like we've been in this energy of convergence, and now we're in this energy of collapsing, because these energies are now kind of like, this is what I'm seeing, like they're locked in, and now it's time for the ones that are not serving to dissolve. And so that's what will happen, that when we move forward, those dissolve behind us, because we are healing on a, it's not linear. Healing isn't linear. It's on a quantum level, which just means that it's, you know, how can I describe linear versus quantum? It's like linear is a line, quantum is a circle, right? There is no beginning and there is no end. At least here we have a beginning and an end, but the circle, there is no beginning and there is no end. So that's kind of what I mean when I'm saying quantum, where it's like you don't have to have a 1, 2, 3 step in order to achieve something. It can be instantaneous. So that's what I mean by quantum. Like, you don't need to go do inner child healing meditation and then journal for 6 days and then do this and then do that in order to heal your trauma from your childhood. It's like, now all it is understanding. We're being invited into understanding why I am the way that I am. Having compassion, having understanding for your parents, for your grandparents, for your siblings, for you, for everybody involved, so that you're able to take your power back. There's a bug. So that you're able to take your power back and access, because this is, again, we're going back to that subconscious. This is all held within your subconscious. So you are not conscious of what it is that is, blocking you or stopping you from, actually stepping onto this path of liberation. So that's why, right now, like, just these choice points are so important to take advantage of. And to utilize this energy that's supporting our shadow, instead of kind of, I don't know, we have different, like I'm seeing Libra energy, which is like a balancing energy. I'm seeing Piscean energy, which is kind of like the spiritual energy where it's like we're coming full circle and understanding this aspect of the whole picture, or Aries energy, which is very action-oriented, which is like, the fool's journey, stepping onto your path. We're in Scorpio energy, which is basically the shadow, deep purging of the shadow. So we're being very supported right now in order to release what it is that is holding us from liberation. Okay, let's see. I also have... Oh no, I already read that, but that's okay. So you can be antsy, emotional, and very sensitive this week. So kind of like, if you're feeling like anxious, just bring your head and heart back into balance. That's what you're being asked to do. If you're feeling anxious, then all that's happening is your head and your heart are not in balance. And in order for you to balance your head and your heart, you have to feel your feelings and listen to your thoughts and understand how they are not in coherence and bring them into coherence. So, for example, if you're having stories in your mind around, I don't know, something that you think that you should have done, but in your heart, there's something saying, no, you did the right thing. It's like coming into balance of like, well, what's your mind saying, what's your heart saying, and kind of just vibrate them together. Like, okay, so work it through. Okay, my head is saying that I shouldn't have done it, but my heart is saying that I knew that it was the right thing to do. So let's analyze what's right, what's wrong, why was it right, why was it wrong, what is right, what is wrong, and go into it and kind of unpack it from there. Or if you think you should have said this, or should have done that, or whatever it is, shoulda, woulda, coulda, let's analyze why you did what you did so that you're able to understand and actually integrate the lesson that is coming forth for you from that experience. And a lot of the time, anxiety is from thinking about the future as well, like 1, 2, 3, 4, about tapping into all the possibilities of the future and not knowing. So also like getting comfortable with the unknown and really integrating, because really we're more in the unknown than the known. So we have to really learn how to be comfortable in the unknown. All right, are you ready? Let's get some cards flowing. We are going to be pulling, Kyle suggested, Odin in the 9 Realm Oracle today. So this was the new deck I was saying, because I have not pulled from this deck here. I know that. And then I have like 4 decks behind my computer that I'm contemplating which one I'm going to pull from. So, let's see what wants to come through, what energies this week. And I will be reading from the book, because I do not know these cards very well at all. What is the main energy of this week? What is the main energy of this week? Throat chakra clearing, guys. What is the energy of this week? What is the energy of this week? Okay, this one will come through. I do not know how to say that. Logger, I don't know. Alright, let's see what you got. The runes. Oh, and it was reversed. And this one actually has reversed meanings. Here we go. Huh. Love it. Okay, so, Loger. I'm just going to say Loger. I'm probably saying it wrong, but that's okay. Okay, so it represents water, security, and inner female. So water flows throughout the world and connects directly to emotions. This card indicates that it is time to allow this flow of energy to take you back to the womb and the feeling of security it once provided. Water flows with life force. Let it ebb and flow in all areas of your life: career, relationships, children, and home. Logger suggests that your female side is urging you to cleanse your physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual bodies. Call upon your intuition. Consider this a rebirth. Like the baby in the womb, you are safe and surrounded by embryonic fluid and transported back to the magical moment when divine love and water mix, creating the perfect alchemy for clarity and intuition. Reconnect with the power of water as a conduit for the divine. Okay, that is beautiful, because that's literally everything I've been talking about. Though I've been looking at it from the masculine side of taking action, it is also the feminine. This is why the feminine and masculine are so interconnected, because we're being called to really nourish and nurture our career, our relationships, our personal connection to self, our security, going back to the womb space even. And I was even saying before about this is lifetime purging. Like, these are, when I'm saying timeline collapsing, this is coming from lifetimes. Vows of poverty, vows of sexual abuse, of physical, mental, emotional, of being trapped, of being stuck in your body, of giving your energy away, of all these different things. This is the energy that we're now in, of taking your power back, of bringing yourself back to your womb space in this lifetime, so that you're able to rebirth yourself right here, right now, into this highest version of yourself, where you are filled up, you are loved, you are abundance, you are nurtured, you support people, you grow, you are in alignment with people that love nature and nurture and all of it, and they're here to connect and coexist and create together. So when I'm talking new earth, that's the energy I'm talking. Okay, so it's this very conscious frequency of that we're very conscious of what we're feeling, of what we're doing, of why we're doing what we're doing, and so on and so forth. So that's exciting. So then again, this card was pulled reversed, so it has a Merc staff is what it says in here, but it just means reversed, so I'm going to read it. Okay, so Loger reversed indicates that you are feeling insecure. You may have reached beyond your abilities and pushed the waters too far. It is time to go within and recalibrate your intuition. Feel the waters of earth nurturing your fluidity. Not trusting your intuition and doubting yourself and others can leave you permanently out of balance. Go within and honor, love, and respect your inner female. This aspect is the part of you that gathers information or intuits that you need. Sit quietly and ask what it is that this female aspect needs. Meditation will help you to regain your balance. That was spot on. Exactly. So that was kind of the two sides of it, was that saying, you know, if you are in need of that emotional support and that emotional nurturing, that you are the one that can give that to yourself. So give yourself the space, give yourself the time, really carve out that, I'm going to say self-love, but it's deeper than that. It's like true self-love, really listening to yourself and honoring yourself and holding yourself and really supporting yourself through this massive transition that we're going through. I really like that card, so I'm actually going to pull another one from this deck because it was so perfect. And I am going to pull from the Leumerian deck. I was contemplating if I wanted to do that, but I am being guided to because of the Leumerian energies that are being activated right now. The merging of the masculine and feminine. This one wanted to come. Haggle. What else we got? Haggle. That one was kind of reversed. It was kind of on its side, so I'll also read the reverse for that just so we can get a... Oh, they don't actually have a reverse, so that's perfect. Okay. So Haggle. Disruption and nature's forces. Disruptive forces are at hand. There is a desire for freedom. This mighty rune represents the power of nature and natural forces. These energies are barreling down on your life, causing destruction. It is time to surrender and see your part in the creation of all of this. Use your inner strength to support you and give yourself the stability and guidance needed to endure such change. There is no Merkstav or reverse position. The more radical the disruption, the more opportunity you have to grow and release the confines of your limitations. That was perfect. Exactly. So that's exactly what this is saying. Like, you know, the forces of life, like the things we have to go through in order to be the person that we want to be. So that's kind of what I'm hearing from that card, is just like there's the natural ebbs and flows of life, and that, you know, we all have to go through our own turbulence. We all have our own storms. You know, life is not always gentle and sweet and kind. It's a very intense experience. There's death, there's pain, there's suffering, there's crumbling, there's change. So we're being asked to bring in this feminine energy into this masculine energy. So it's like, even though this is still Mother Nature and feminine, she's more in her masculine energy when she is changing, when she is being destructive. And this is more that healing, that womb space, that stillness, that calm. So there, that is like learning to balance the two and learning how to support yourself through the shifts and the transitions. This is fun. Okay, I gotta do this one. Scotty. Scotty? Sure. Last one out of... Perfect. I opened it right up to the page. So we have Scotty, which represents partnership. Scotty is a giantess, a member of Aesir, and a goddess. She is the daughter of the god Thazi. Oh goodness, I cannot pronounce these. I'm sorry, guys. In a constant held by the gods, she picked her husband, Nord, for his lower legs. Nord wanted to live by the sea. Scotty preferred the mountains. Not surprisingly, their marriage eventually ended. A hunter, she lives high in the mountains at her father's home. She is known as the snowshoe goddess. A love relationship needs your attention, and you may have to make a decision. Picking the right partner takes time, patience, and self-awareness. Beware of your unwillingness to see the truth. Let your intuition is a dog's. In other words, as the Norse would have it, the raven is on top of your head. The Stav force is shy in reverse, indicates that you may pick unsuitable partners. There may be patterns of abandonment, betrayal, and rejection that stem from childhood trauma and wreak havoc on your adult life. Scotty encourages you to communicate and parent your wounded inner child. Drawing Scotty in reverse suggests that you are somehow isolating yourself and rejecting love. We can often be alone like Scotty and live in the mountains and hunt, or we can stay connected and open to possibilities of new love. After all, we learn from Norse mythology that Scotty had a relationship and many children with Odin. There's always an opening to find love. I love that. That's beautiful. So that's even saying, you know, like, how are you nurturing your relationships? Uh-oh. My computer's overheating. Uh-oh. I'm gonna wait and see if this... Okay, that was weird. I was going all wonky, so I'm just gonna start from here. So yeah, Scotty was talking about relationships and how she chose basically to choose her roots over a new love, but also understanding that we have to make choices for ourselves, even though, like it might not always feel good. It's definitely in alignment with our true soul purpose. And also understanding that love is available in many forms. So having that discernment and connection to self to be able to, understand and process kind of your decisions so that like connect to yourself with every relationship that you have and then process from there so that you're able to understand what is serving you and what is not, and to not get pulled in the direction of guilt or anything else to make your decisions for you. All right. That's beautiful. That's perfectly in alignment with the Scorpio energy. So let's see. I'm now just shuffling up the Beyond Leumeria book, and we'll see what the Leumerian and Atlantean energies kind of want to say to us this week about what is going on. All right. Let's do it. Oh, goodness gracious. Earth Star Chakra, Solar Plexus Chakra, stepping through and surrender. Nice. I don't want to pull any of those. So let's see. I am just calling in my higher self so that you can receive the messages for the week from Leumeria. Gracious receptivity. Oh wow, that's beautiful. Card 28. And that's throat. I can feel it. Throat chakra this week. Speaking our truth. Okay, so gracious receptivity. Gratitude, being thankful, receptivity, giving without expectation, how worthiness and self-love can affect your capacity to receive and to give without depletion. Overflow over obligation, thriving over surviving, and gifting economies. So that's kind of what I was talking about earlier around, that mother energy of depletion, of like having to make sure that everybody else is taken care of before we take care of ourselves. Now we're in this energy of that we have to take care of ourselves in order to be able to be of service, to be of full service. So let's see. Do I want to read all this? Definitely not all of it. Let's just read the first bit. So if there was a manual for optimal human experience, one of the most potent points would be gratitude. It is the backbone of all spiritual practice. Writing a list of the things you are grateful for has been scientifically proven to have a profound positive effect on the mind and nervous system. When we shift our perspective from what we are lacking, needing, and desiring, we temporarily replace the survival factor with the resonance for thriving. When we acknowledge the miracle of our existence and how far we have come despite the challenges, it can bring back our inner smile. Gratitude can enliven an attitude of, I got this. One of the best tricks for bringing something into your life is to be already thankful for it, as if it has already arrived. This sets up the frequency of fullness and plenty rather than emptiness and need. As we have mentioned before, like attracts like, but there is a whole other power at play here, as true gratitude is anchored in the heart. Being moved by the sheer awe of appreciation and thankfulness is hugely pivotal to the way others and our environment respond to us. The next step is to give from our hearts without being asked or invited. When we emanate a field of new earth consciousness, giving can free us from expectation just by knowing that we can all thrive together when everything flows as a system of giving. Burning Man Festival is a blueprint of this. Yes, others may take advantage, but if you drop the fear of this outcome, it is quite likely that those of this frequency will also fall away. Holding up a beacon of light this way creates incentive and inspiration to those around you. As their cups fill, it unlocks space within them for resources in other areas. Thus, this giving overflow has a domino effect from person to person. When you allow yourself to receive from those in their heart's joyous overflow and give from a place beyond expectation or obligation, a whole new paradigm reveals itself. You will discover a new way of thriving. Giving and receiving is a two-way flow. Each allows space for the other. When we are in our hearts, we have limitless resources, and that starts with gratitude. Could gifting economies be the seed for a more joyful new paradigm of making the world go round? That's beautiful. So, as I was reading that, I was also realizing, like, that I have blocked my own abundance. I have put up, like, oh, I can't sustain it. Oh, I can't be present enough. Oh, I can't do this. Oh, I can't do that. Oh, I want to make sure that, like, everything looks perfect in my world before I actually start taking on clients full time and doing this and doing that and whatever. But it's like, actually, I'm the one that's stopping them from coming in because I don't feel like I'm ready. So I need to trust myself and implement and take the action that I need in order to get a proper flow going so that I'm able to have what it is that I want. So it's just very interesting because I had people reach out to me client-wise, and I could feel the resistance within my being. And it's not because I know I'm good at it. I know I have the capacity. I'm very, I love it. I love being in this energy, being able to help, being able to support. But there's that shadow self of me that comes up and says, oh, can you really do it? Can you really support it? Can you really make money off doing this? Can you, and all those shadow self comes up, right? So it's just very interesting to observe and see and to be honest with yourself and to tap in. And so, yeah, gracious receptivity, that one is saying that we have to be open to receiving. And we also have to learn to give with a sense of abundance, not a sense of lack. Okay, let's pull one more here. Unique gifts. I think this one came up the other week too when I pulled it. I can't quite remember, but unique gifts, exactly. And that's exactly goes into full circle around what I was just saying around, like, I know I'm good at what I do. It's just really stepping into it. So it's very interesting that this has now come up here in the reading, because this is also showing us that we are tapped into our soul purposes. Our unique gifts, oh, sorry guys, my legs are hurting. Our soul purpose, our soul gifts are coming through, and we are being receptive to our unique gifts, to what it is that we're here to do, to anchor this higher frequency. And even though it might seem like crazy, like, oh my God, can I really do this? Yes, you can. And you have to learn how to embody it and how to integrate these different aspects of yourself. And it's a beautiful thing. Okay, cool. So unique gifts, your superpowers, a sense of purpose, the meaning behind your quirks, exploring your interests, shortcomings as a unique, undiscovered skill. I'm just going to read the divinatory meaning for this one. So what makes you unique? Any quirks that you feel any quirks that you feel or are shortcomings could be the key to your superpowers. Look for the positive sides of your oddities and traits. How would you like to spend more time? Are there things you would like to try or feel a pull to explore? Now is the time to follow these whispers. You never know how transformational they will be. So amazing. So good. So yeah, really just a quick little recap. This week we are going to be in this energy of deep soul purging and purification. So as we are going through the week, really tap in, really connect to yourself internally. Listen to your emotions, listen to your thoughts, really honor your thoughts, really honor your experiences, your feelings, everything that you're going through, because this is our subconscious mind speaking to us. We're in a deep, 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 deep transformational energy of purging, of purifying, of stepping into our unique path and purposes, of really choosing now is the time to anchor new earth. It's coming, it's here, and really we're going to see our manifestation of the change that we've longed for so long. So, yeah, just trust the process. Trust that, you know, every moment, every choice point, you're collapsing these timelines that aren't serving you, and that you are doing it. You are doing the work, and just keep slowing down, trusting, listening to your heart space, you know, going back to the womb space if you need, and feel your heartbeat, and feel your mom's heartbeat, and feel safe, and feel secure, and feel the love. And then give that to yourself through every action. All right. You guys have a beautiful week. I have now 3 videos from this one, so I'm not the best editor. I don't know how this is all going to work, but I trust it, and if the final product isn't perfect, that's totally okay, because you guys still get the message. So, yeah, sending you guys all so much love, happy healing, and, yeah, we'll talk to you when I talk to you. Bye.